Hey y'all, today I'm going to show you how to make your own BodyWave Bohemian locks. This first portion of the video, I'm just going to show you guys how to add the hair to the bottom. I wasn't really sure how much hair I wanted to add initially, so I just started with the bottom. So here is a bulk bundle of hair that I have. I actually grabbed this off of a wig that I had like years ago from Amazon. So you're just gonna grab a piece of that hair, and I am breaking off a smaller section, the size that I want to add to the bottom of my lock. And I am gonna pinch that off, and right here, I'm just running my fingers through it, pulling out any shorter strands. So I'm holding that section taut, and I'm just pulling out anything that fluffs right out. And then I'm going to put that hair to the side. That's what I'm going to add to my lock. So you need your crochet hook next. We're going to hook that through a lock. This was originally a 30-inch lock, and I cut it to about 10 inches because I want it near my face. So you're going to put the crochet hook right through the lock, and you're going to open that bad boy up. So I just hooked mine to that light cord so that I could grab my hair. So you're gonna grab your hair, slide it to the top of the hook, and then you're gonna close that hook up. Mine is loose. I got about 30 of them in there. I don't know why I didn't grab another one. But you're gonna pull that hair through. And once you pull the hair through, you're just gonna make sure there's no other loose strands hanging, because we do not do shedding in this house. So now that you have that hair through, you are going to grab some nail glue. Come on me, grab the nail glue. Let's move, girl. Grab the glue. Okay, we got the glue now. You are actually going to put a little dot of glue where the hair is going through the lock. So literally where the hair connects to the lock on the sides, you're going to put a dot of glue. Don't put the glue down too far because it's going to make the hair hard. You literally just want to make sure it is secure in there. So you're going to let that sit for a few minutes. Generally, this is where I will be doing other locks. But now that those have sat for a minute or so, I'm now going to grab my Marley hair or, wrapping hair, whatever hair you want to use to wrap it, girl. Grab what you need, girl. So I have matching hair. Everything I'm using is 1B. So I'm going to pinch off a small portion. Don't grab like a whole section. You want to break that down. You should be able to wrap quite a few locks with one section of hair. So I've grabbed that, and this is 18-inch hair that I cut into thirds because, once again, I don't need a long strand. So for this first method of tucking this hair in, I'm going to show you without cutting the excess hair right away. So I am going to pinch the sides just to soften that glue a little bit, so that way the hair will actually lay down flat. And I'm going to hold it all together in one palm while I hold one short section of hair against that. And then I'm going to start wrapping the longer section around the bulk of everything. So everything I'm holding in my hand is going to be wrapped. So you want to make sure you're using a nice amount of tension as you're pulling that hair. So that way everything is around the same thickness. Let me move that one out of the way. Girl, stay there, girl. Don't you come down. Don't do it. Look, she's thinking about it. So anyway, I'm going to keep holding this hair, and I'm going to keep wrapping that taunt. You're going to keep going around. And the good thing is, if you do have any weird areas on your lock, you can just rewrap them. So this is in an effort to keep these nice and light. You know, I'm not going to wrap the whole lock. I knew she was going to do it. So now we got to deal with her again, being unruly. So once you get to the section where the glue is, you want to really pull that hair taut so that way everything is still around the same width. You don't want to have like a big old bulb where the hair is, because it makes it obvious where you fed the hair in. So you want to keep on wrapping down for a little bit. So that section right there, that is where I added my hair in. So I'm going to wrap down maybe about an extra inch or so down. That's just extra hair that wasn't the same length as everything else, but it's not a big deal. I don't need it at this point. So I'm gonna keep wrapping down until I get to the end of what I have. Gonna keep going, la da 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 da, going down. How y'all doing? I've been loving these block styles, loving them. So that's what we have left over. That's after we wrapped all the hair to the bottom. So now we're gonna hold on to our human hair section so we can see everything that we need to get rid of. So all of that is tight, it's together, we're good. So we're gonna grab our handy dandy scissors, and while we're holding the long hair taunt that we wanna keep, we're gonna cut away all of those synthetic strands, and we're gonna cut off that excess human hair too. So that way you don't see any overhang. So just be very careful. You wanna make sure you don't wanna, you don't want to cut anything that you need. So we're gonna cut all of that off. And now we have our lock. But as you can see, there is like line of demarcation. I can't even speak today. In between that. So what you're going to want to do is all the way at the bottom of the lock where the hair is connecting, you want to palm roll that. Don't palm roll the whole lock. You might undo some of your hard work. You just want to loosen that bottom part up a little bit to kind of cover any stray hairs you might have down there or anything that keeps it from being uniform. So as you can see, it is very secure. I can use that hair to pull as anchor if I wanted to. And it's on there. So now we're going to grab a lighter. This is an old raggedy lighter, but she still works. So we're going to pull the human hair taunt and cut off any long hairs that are hanging out that we don't want to keep. So once we've done that, and it's nothing but short synthetic hairs left, we're going to light our lighter, and we're going to go gently down the side of the lock, mainly in the areas that we wrapped, just to make sure it's sealed in. And then I'm going to do light palm rolling just to make sure everything is in together. And that is our first completed lock. So bouncy and cute. I love the human hair. It's just so much softer than the synthetic hair that's usually up against my skin. So I'm going to show you a technique that's a little different for this second one. So that way you have the option. So as you can see, you got a lot of long hair on the side that you want to keep. And then you got a good amount of hair on the other side that we don't want to keep. So what we are actually going to do here is, once again, we're going to loosen that glue up a little bit just so that the lock is pliable. And we are going to cut off all of that excess hair. So we're going to cut it right at where the lock is. And we're just left with what we want to keep. So unlike with the other lock where I could use that hair as an anchor, I'm not going to do that right now. I'm not going to apply any tension to the hair that's hanging off the lock until I start to wrap it. All right, so we got our Marley hair again. Once again, we're going to go ahead and grab a thin piece. We just want just enough to wrap everything where you cannot see the work underneath. So that's the section that I have. And you want to fluff that up just a little bit. So you can see the shrinkage is so real with this, because this is just 1/3 of an 18-inch bundle, and you get a lot of length from it. So don't worry about, using a whole long section. You do not need to do that. So we're going to pull the actual lock down and hold taut where we have the hair glued in. So we're going to start wrapping about 1/2 inch above that. I like to start wrapping. So you hold the short section taut against the lock. The longer section is what you use to wrap the hair down. So you're going to keep moving your way down just like we did before. The only difference is that we no longer have the bulk of the overhang hair. So it makes it a little bit easier on you. You don't have as much you have to hold on to. So you want to pinch the overhang from the Marley hair along with the lock and the human hair at the same time, right? We want that hair to go in the direction we want it to go in this case, down. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap that down. And you keep moving, pinching and moving as you go. You really want to just wrap this kind of like how you would wrap a ribbon, nice and smooth. And now I'm just checking out the length because I want them to fall around the same area. So I'm going to keep wrapping down to the bottom of the lock with the Marley hair. Now, the last one, if you remember, we went down and we just wrapped into it and that was it, right? We just cut the excess. But this time, what I'm actually going to do is once I get towards the bottom of the hair, I'm going to start wrapping back up. This is to give me extra stability considering I cut off that extra hair. So the lock won't be more bulky or anything. You're just going to have to make sure you really hold that hair taut as you're wrapping back up. So that way it doesn't create any extra ripples there. So by the time I wrap it back up, I'm right back around at the point where the glue is. And you want to make sure you get every single hair that you can wrapped up in there. So now, once again, you just have that little bit left over down there. And we are just going to cut that off. And you are going to cut off any small stray hairs that are sticking out. You want to keep your look as neat as possible. And there we go. I am going to palm roll that bottom again, even though it does not, if you notice, it doesn't look nearly as lumpy as the other one did. At the bottom is not nearly as much of a cliff. But there you go. Now it is joined at the bottom. And I'm going to take my lighter once again, and I am going to seal everything. I'm going to go a little bit higher up on the lock this time because remember, we wrapped this one up instead of down. All right, and we are all set. So those are our 2 locks done. Those are our 2 methods. As you can see, you really can't tell the difference between the finished look. Okay, thanks for watching.